guys, this is one of the owners of Diverging Clear Run8. My name's Billy, and I'm going to be doing a check ride video. This is what when you join our Discord in our server, this is what we're looking for. Uh, Basically, we're going to show you what the check ride will be and what we're looking for. Um, so, starting out, you're going to have 31 loads, 0 empties. Your length is 1,700 feet. Right at, I mean, you can see it up there, all this information. We're going to take this. This is going to be your bulletins, your track bulletins, based off of a Watco's track bulletin. We're only going to be running from Bryant at the Tuscaloosa yard, and we're going to run right up the main here to Mercedes, and we're going to stop here. That's going to be your check ride. Depending on how well you are doing, or if the staff member sees that you are not operating within their standards of basically everything on this list right here, if you don't follow a Form X crossing warning system, or a Form A, which is slow order, or the Form B, which is basically a red flag, meaning that you do not go into that work zone until you contact the RWIC. The RWIC will be the guy that is check riding you. So you will ask for that staff member. So like you're in engine 1163, you're NS 1163, and the way this will work is, if let's say I'm running, I say NS 1163 to RWIC. You will wait until RWIC, the road worker in charge, contacts you back with NS 1163. This is RWIC, and you will ask for permission through their Form B. You are not allowed to cross past the red flag that is stationed on the track. If you pass it, you automatically fail. That is the one thing you do have to do. You have to bring your train to a complete stop. You are not allowed to pass until the RWIC says NS 1163 you do have permission. Only reason I'm saying 1163 is because this is what engine number we have on our locomotive. So we're gonna hit this button here to get all the mileposts brought up. So you can see behind us, and I'll float up here in the air a little bit. You can see back here behind us we have milepost 198, and Bryant is at milepost 197.5. So I'm gonna pull the bulletins up here. At 194.9, because I built this a little backwards, so it adds more of a challenge to it. You will start your crossing warning system is at milepost 194.9. This is what you will have to do is make sure you read your bulletins. It says malfunction, stop and protect movement if devices are seen not to be working, meaning that if they are working, you do not have to come to a complete stop. If they are not working, you do. Of course, Run8 has it set up to where all crossings are going to flash. They're going to let the gate arms down. So you're going to keep rolling through it, but you want to be able to stop within, like let's say a car pulls out in front of the crossing. You want to be able to stop. So what myself, check riding, I'm looking for you to be down to around 5-6 miles an hour. You need to get the train slowed down at 5 or 6 miles an hour going over that crossing. Once the head end, the first set of wheels, crosses to the other side of the crossing, you will be okay to get back up to track speed. And you'll want to, because this grade on the AGS line on Run8 it's like a roller coaster, man. It's up and down constantly, and it's steep grades, and your train is fairly heavy. So you'll want to get up on it and take off. Uh, the Form A will be at the 192.5. So you're basically going to get up to track speed and you have to slow right back down. And it's only for this small little section, and it's for broke rail. So I'm looking for you to be doing at 10 mile an hour or less. Um, I'm okay with going 2, 3 over, maybe, depending on how you're handling everything else. Um, but we want to aim for 10 mile an hour. Your Form B starts at the 186. You're going to have a little bit of run time there. Uh, Milepost 186 is where it starts, 185 is where it ends. So when you come up on the Form B, you will stop, ask for permission from the RWIC. Uh, Once you get permission, you'll proceed at restricting speeds, looking out for men, equipment, uh, any of that stuff. You're running on restricted speed. So you will do that all the way through that through that Form B. When the tail end of your train passes the 185, you can get back up to track speed. We also do have signals that we are running on. Uh, Everything will be lit ahead of you, so you will have clear signals all the way up to Mercedes, and that's your stopping point. So if you go through all three of those slow orders and your check ride staff member does not think you've complied with any of this, he he or she will allow you to stop at Mercedes, and then you will on the Discord be told what you've done wrong, if you've passed, if you failed, or they may tell you in chat. So um, we are gonna get ready to start. See what's going on out here, guys. This train shouldn't be moving. Uh, it's kind of odd. Okay, so we're gonna get in the train. I've already got it started up. I've got the trailing unit back there. I've got it set up in short hood trail. I've got our head in short hood lead. So the first thing you'll want to do is once you get in the train, make sure your headlights are on dim. I already have them set up on dim. Then, looking at your equalizer, you'll see it's 90. Your flows out should be down pretty low, below 60. The rear needs to be within 15 pounds of 90, meaning 75, which we are in. Everything looks good. We're going to draw down 20 pounds. Make sure our brakes are working. Okay, we've set it to 70. The brake pipe will follow up to 70. And we're watching the rear, making sure it's that all the angle cocks are open, and basically we're doing what's called an on and off. Uh, we're just making sure that brakes are working all the way through the train, which it appears they are. So our rears come down to 72, and still dropping. And we can also check the screen here, and you can see brakes are all applied. So I like to run on this screen here. That way it tells you what your next signal is and your train's track speed. So, okay, everything is great on our on and off. We're gonna knock it off. We're gonna let this get back towards close to 90, and we're gonna let our flow get down to 60. At 60 on the flow, you're okay to start pulling, but you want to keep in mind that the higher this number is, the less braking effort you're gonna have. So you'll want to make sure this is below 60. Um, and then once it's below 60, you can start pulling on it. Okay. Our track speed is 40. I'm gonna let it get down just a little bit more here. Set our reverser in forward. I'm gonna notch up to notch 1. Couple toots on the horn. We put our headlight on bright, and we're slowly gonna let off our independent. Now, what I am doing is I'm looking right here at the ground, and I can see it's starting to kind of move a little bit. So I'm just playing with the independent. And you'll see your brake cylinder start coming off of it a little bit more. Okay. I'm going to drive it one more notch. Okay, it's a pretty heavy little train here, so it's taking a little bit to get it moving. Okay, the rear is moving on us. Start blowing for the crossing. Okay, so we're going to stay in notch 4 for just a little bit. You can see our accelerometer is up to 15, 16. It's climbing. Our tractive effort 70. We're just going to ride this out. We're not going to be in a hurry. We have about right around a mile and a half. Couple miles here until we get to the first slow order, and I'll put that back up on the screen where you can see it. It's at the 194.9. Sorry, that's crossing warning system. Crossing's out malfunctioning. So at the 194.9, so we're going to say that's 195. Something else that you want to pay attention to is your grade. Here at the top, you can see we're going downhill. If it's got a minus here. You see it's got a minus in front of the number, so that means that it's going to start a problem. Right now we're starting to level out and start to climb, so we'll want to start getting onto it just a bit. Because what you will want to do during this scenario is you'll want to try to keep it up as close as you can to track speed. You can see it's changed from 40 to 55, but in a little over half a mile we're going to be getting down to 40, so don't be afraid to get up there. Our Discord and our server, we are okay if you want to stretch brake. That is 100% okay. The preferred method is dynamic braking, but we do allow stretch braking. You see, we are coming up on milepost 196, so we'll have 1 mile once we get to there. So pay attention up there to the grade. You can see now it's starting to, I mean, it's still a pretty steep grade, but it's slowly dropping down. So we're going to watch our accelerometer along with that. Right now we got right at a mile before we're at the crossing system. And so I'm going to drop a notch. Okay, you can see on the screen it's starting to come into view there, the milepost 195, which will be right around the corner. So we'll just keep wanting to, we'll kind of hold it notch 4 for right now. Now when you do, I'll tell you when we can get over this crossing. What I was going to say was, if you are deciding that you want to stretch brake, with stretch braking, you do not want to be any higher than notch 4. So right now we're good. We could put a minimum on. A minimum is all you really need to do this stretch braking with this train. You don't need any more. Any more will stop you. You can see our speed's coming down pretty good. We're just gonna let it ride. We've kept our train stretched out. The grade's getting steeper right here, so we really don't need to do anything. Just let our speed just come down. It's okay to come up on this crossing pretty slow. And if we need, like, I feel like we're gonna come up on it a little fast here in a little bit, so I might drop a notch or two. But we're gonna hold it for right now. You see right here is the 195, so right there's our crossing. Okay, I'm gonna drop a notch. And we're down to 2. We're just gonna let our speed slowly drop off. Okay, we're at 6. We'll grab that notch back. And we'll get back into 4. Okay, crossing's clear. We're ready to go. Start picking up speed because you'll want to get on it fairly fast, but cautious. You don't want to get a knuckle. So while we're getting back up to speed, track speed's 50. I'll pull this back up for you. Okay, you can see the next we have on our bulletin is going to be a slow order at milepost 192.5 to the 192.4. It's 10 miles an hour for broke rail. There are flags, so we will need it. get our train slowed down to go over that, and that'll be at the 192.5. So just pay attention to the grade. You can see it's fairly steep. We'll be like this for just a little bit. And just because on the slow order it says that our slow order is at the 192.5, we need to give ourselves just a little, we need to be thinking ahead about what's going to be going on. If you're familiar with this route, that's great. If you're not, come at it cautious. Just let your staff member know that you've not ran a lot on this route and you would rather be cautious. And we are okay with being cautious. Just kind of know that you don't want to get over speed. You don't want to be out of control. If you're out of control, that's going to probably lead to you either being banned or kicked from our server or Discord. Once again, we're okay with a few over or lenient on that because you're not going to be able to keep the speed limit at all times. So just keep that in mind. Now with that slow order being at the 192.5, we don't want to be coming up on the 192.5 at track speed. So we will need to figure out, are we going to stretch brake? Are we going to use dynamic? Are we going to use both? What's our preferred method? What I believe I'm going to do is right here's the 194. I've ran this scenario a couple times, which if you are being check road, you should have already watched this video. You should have already practiced this a couple times. Make sure you've got an understanding of where everything's at and how we're going to operate, what we're looking for. So myself, since I have ran this a couple times, I know it's going to start downhill. So you can see our grade is starting to drop off. I'm not going to get in a hurry to like keep it up here. Like I don't want to stay in notch 8 all the time. So you can see our accelerometer is saying we're gaining. I'm going to start dropping off of it. Now I know because I've tested it a couple times, I have failed it. My own scenario. So I'm going to do something a little different. And it's just figuring out what's going to work for you. So you can see here we have started down grade. Grade's getting steeper going downhill. You see I'm in notch 4. This bridge, I believe I'm going to set a minimum. I'm going to stretch brake. A minimum is basically what it says in the name, a minimum amount of brake. Or burst surface. It's going to be the first initiative of taking air out of your train. So that's what I did. I draw down to a minimum. You can see we're still kind of gaining, so I'm going to keep dropping notches. When you are drawing down with air, you're applying the air brakes on the train. You do not want to apply a lot. Brake early, brake light. Okay, I can see it's going to keep going, so we're going to try down 2 more pounds. I'm going to go to idle. I'm going to wait just a moment. Get into my dynamics. And we're going to start getting into them just a little bit here. We're going to bunch the train up, be real slow with this. You can hear the slack just rain into us. And you can see we got a half mile till we're at the slow order for broke rail. There's no reason you should try to, you want to get up to speed. You don't want to drag your feet everywhere you go on this route. But you'll want to, I mean, you want to go close to track speed, but you can see I didn't do it. I got up 25, 26, I think it was. Right now I'm gonna start coming out of my dynamics a little bit. And I'm all the way out of them. We're just gonna let this ride for a minute. You can remember I said that it's okay if you hit it a little bit over. That's all right with us. You just don't want to hit it at like 15 or higher. You can see we're starting to drop. So I'm gonna grab a notch. I'm gonna try to stretch break it a little bit. All right, here's our slow order. Broke rails in the crossing.
Norfolk Southern detected. Milestone. 192.5 track 1.
Little tip: when you cross past that green sign, you want to hit your counter, and then you'll want to just kind of modulate with your throttle. Just keep that brake drawn down. Don't worry about the brake. Just pull against it. And I'm sure that there's probably some real engineers out here that are watching this video and disagree with the running method. But once again, this is just a game. So if you do forget to hit your counter, there is one other way to know that you're clear of that slow order. You know, when we first went over it, we heard the defect detector go off. Well, it's going to go off and let us know if we've had any defects in our train or if we have no defects. So if you forget to hit your counter, don't worry, it's okay. That's going to let you know that you're clear of that slow order. And just so, if you didn't catch it at the beginning of the video, we do have, there's 31 cars. They're all loads, all coal loads, and so it's going to be a heavy train. If you look at the counter, you can see that it's down to like 300 feet, a little less than 300 feet, coming up on the rear coming out of that slow order. We should hear the defect detector any moment.
Norfolk Southern detected. Milestone. 192.5 track 1. No defect. Total axle 136.
So as you can hear, we just come out of the defect, or out of the slow order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to notch up to 3. We're going to get out of this. We're going to get over the crossing, knock our air off. I'll pull it back up on the screen real fast. Form B is at the 186 to the 185. So we're at the 192. We got a little bit of runtime. We can kind of get up to track speed and just let your staff member know that you know how to get up to speed with great train handling. It also kind of lets them see how you're going to run on the main line. Usually I'm in 3. I'm not getting in a hurry to get up there. There's no reason to try to rush up to 8. Because, I mean, we got a 1.2% downhill grade. There's no reason that you need to try to go to notch 8 and then fight it to get it back down, to get into your air, or to get in dynamic, trying to slow it down. All of us have different running preferences. I prefer running with air, like stretch braking. Some of the guys prefer to use dynamic. So you can see our track speed's at 55, and I'm gaining fairly good. But I'm also watching the grade, and I'm seeing that it's dropping. Probably after this crossing, I'm going to get a minimum. Correction, I'm not going to get a minimum. I'm actually going to notch up. And we're going to start working our way to 8 now. Now we're probably going to get pretty slow through going up this hill. You can see our grade is getting pretty steep, or is getting steeper. If I had have got that up to 55 when we hit the bottom, we'd have been doing pretty good coming up the hill. Once again, I've tried this a couple times. You're going to get slow. You're not going to hit track speed all the time. So just keep that in mind. I'm not perfect. You're not going to be perfect. See, we're starting to start back downhill. We've crested over the hill. Still good for 55. I'm going to start notching down. I'm going to go right back to 4. Might hold that. Flow order's at the 186. And we're going to notch up. We're going to work our way back up to 8. And you can see we went downhill pretty good. It was fairly decent little downhill. I didn't go into dynamic, didn't get any air, just notched down a couple notches and let it roll. And when I seen it start to climb on the grade, I grabbed a couple notches and started working my way back up to 8. Coming up on the milepost 188. Form B is still at the 186. Hey, you see that flag? It was a yellow over red. Yellow red flag sitting signifies that in 2 miles there's going to be a red flag starting your Form B. So we have 2 miles to we're at the Form B. That's how we signify that we're coming up on it. So when you're running on our Discord, if we have where we simulate maintenance away, you'll see that flag out. You see that flag, you know that there's a Form B coming up. You need to pull up, stop, contact the RWIC. Hey, there's the 187. How about I start notching down? Okay, at the 187, I'm gonna put a minimum on. I'm gonna stay in notch 4. Please excuse that, I live next to the CSX main line. Hearing that extra train horn, I was kind of like, what was that? Was that on her? Did I have a video going? Was there somehow I couldn't figure that out now. Realized it was a CSX runs right outside of my apartment. And I'm thinking about doing like a live cam feed at some point to show that. And it looks like right up there's our Form B. It's going to be at the 186. I'll zoom in here a little bit. You can see the red flag, and you can see it looks like a piece of equipment, maybe a high rail. So we know that they're out here working. Well, if you work for the railroad, you know the maintenance away department. Most of the time they just sit in a high rail and loaf around. They don't really work on the track. They just loaf around and find a place to hide out. That's just a joke towards you, maintenance away guys. If you're watching this, we do appreciate what you do. And I'm gonna knock my air off. And you can see I stretch braked. I didn't have to use dynamic. I just notch forward, stretch brake, and we're gonna keep watching our accelerometer. For some reason on the rail driver, I don't know if anybody else has an issue with it. It seems like if you drop a notch and then you leave it, like you just let go of it, it'll sometimes drop another notch, and it's kind of a little bit annoying, um, especially if you've got something figured out, like how I wanted to stay in 3 coming up here on this Form B. Wanted to stay in notch 3, but it wouldn't. Um, so we're just gonna keep easing up here on it. You don't want to come in hot. At this point, when you know you're coming up on this Form B, you want to contact them. NS 1163 to RWIC. And since I'm on here on a Discord, or I mean on Run8 by myself on a private server, which is what you should be on, you should never go past this Form B without stopping. So since I don't have anybody to respond back as an RWAC, we're gonna pull the train up. We're gonna stop. You stop on a main line, you draw down 20 pounds on your train line or at full service to stop until you're ready to move. So what you're gonna see me do is you don't want to crowd up on this flag. I'm gonna go ahead and get a minimum. We're gonna dim our headlights. Don't let it stop. Well, I'm gonna notch down. Put the independent on. cursor is signaled and we're in idle. And you'll sit here after going into drawing down 20 pounds. You'll sit. You'll wait for your rear to get down to 70. Now, the only time you'll do this is once you're practicing. When you're practicing this, this is what you would do. When you're on a check ride, you'll contact the RWIC, which is your staff member that is check riding you. Once they respond to you that you do have permission to proceed through the Form B, you're 100% okay to go through. You just do not go past restricting speed, which is no faster than 20 miles an hour. So you may contact them back at the red yellow flag 387. You may contact them there, RWIC, NS 1163 to RWIC. Do I got permission under Form B? Once they respond back to you, if they say you've got permission, you proceed on. Your staff member may not like the way you ran, so they may have you stop. And once you come to a stop, they may then tell you that you have permission because they want to see if you can start on this hill. You can see it's a 1.35% grade. Starting on a hill is a little difficult. We know that we can't be just in notch one or we're going to roll back. So what I'm going to do is everything has equalized out. I know I've come to a complete stop. I'm going to flip the headlight on, reverse your forward. We're going to notch one. We're going to wait a minute. Notch two. I'm going to start coming off my independent. You can see the brake cylinder is at 34 because I didn't bell off once I dropped the minimum or dropped the 20 pounds down. And then I'm going to knock the train line off. It's automatic. Keep in mind to watch your flow. Notch three. It's wanting to move. And let's see what 4 does. And if you was paying attention to the bottom, we got our whole train moving, but if you was paying attention right over here to the bottom part of the screen where the gravel is, you can see that I never did roll backwards. I always went forward. That's what you want to do. If you're running on signal territory or if you're running on, let's say, a proceed on track more controlled territory, if you roll backwards, you're fired. So if there had been a signal right at the end of our car and we rolled backwards down this hill on the rear of our train, signal was right at the rear, we rolled backwards. We went through that signal and it was red. You're fired. That's why we want to see if you can start on a hill and if you can get your train moving. I don't believe I blew the horn, a couple blasts on the horn. It is preferred to blow your horn 2 times, 2 longs, and ring your bell. But we're not going to be extremely strict on everything. We just want to see the train handling, seeing that you can move a train on our Discord because we don't want to put somebody on has no clue on how to run a train and then they're doing like 70 mile an hour down the main line or into a siding or they're causing all kinds of problems on the server. So we just want to see how you're going to run, if you can obey the train rules and train handling and server rules, discords, all that. We want to see if you're going to be able to handle what we're asking from you on our Discord and on our server. So we can get up to 20 mile an hour through here. But you also need to keep in mind you're at restricting speed. So what you should be thinking about is you're looking up there. You see that caboose. You can see there's equipment. There's a train doing some maintenance work. Well, let's say somebody's getting something out of that boxcar. you should be running every scenario in your head of what's going on. You're coming up through here at 20 mile an hour and somebody's around that curve, maintenance way equipment, or you've got equipment, you have workers, you have something that may have fell off the side of that train. Those cross ties could have fell off. Can you stop the train at 20? You see I'm doing 10 coming up on it. I don't feel like I can stop it. I mean, I probably could. At 10, you can use the independent to stop the train, but you really, depending on the situation. So we're just gonna be looking, making sure nobody's standing around the corner. Do a couple little toots, and we'll just keep ringing our bell right through here. Okay, looks good. Well, it looks like we can do 20. What if somebody steps around the end of these cars, or this engineer climbs down and doesn't hear you coming? He's got his earplugs and he can't hear you for some reason. And he steps down. His bag is on his back. He's breaking every rule he can, and you're right here, and he steps down. Of course, there's going to be. I mean, you're probably not going to be able to stop that point, but you should be keeping in mind, what if something does happen? What if somebody does come around the end of those cars or something like that? So, see, I'm in notch 4. We're gaining speed, grade's dropping. Can't do 20. You want to keep your train under control. I'm getting a minimum. Now the form D ends at the 185. We can turn our bell off. There's the 185.3. So you need to keep 20 mile an hour till the rear of your train gets by this sign up here. Right up here is the flag. We'll set our counter. Now there's a possibility that if you've complied with everything, you have showed good train handling, you blew your horn at every crossing, rung your bell, uh, dimmed your headlights, you've done everything you can to show you know how to handle a train. You don't want excessive slack. You don't want, uh, once you stop, you don't want to roll backwards. You've showed everything good. Your staff member may tell you, okay, stop. And then you just bring the train down to a complete safe stop, and you may be done with this check ride. saying you may be done with the check ride, but if you have not been able to comply with any of the slow orders, the form B, the crossing, you can't handle those three things, you're more than likely going to fail, and you're going to be told that you're not going to be able to join the Discord, which we're very sorry, but maybe it doesn't mean that you're completely out. It means that you just need to go back and practice. Your staff member may tell you just go back and practice. They may tell you just go back and practice the check ride scenario again. And once you got it down and you feel confident, let us know. Uh, we'll give multiple chances. We'll give multiple chances on if you do fail, and we'll let you know we'll tell you like what you've done wrong, what you could have done a little bit different, or a little bit different, and what you may need to work on. Uh, we know that nobody's gonna get this right. We're all out here to learn. There's nobody that knows everything about railroading. I don't know everything about it, so I'm gonna be a little more lenient towards if you don't know something, just ask. Just ask your staff member, what do we do in this situation? Because the two main owners of the server, both of us do have experience with railroading. Uh, we're both conductors, and I believe both are going to be soon to be engineers. So we're out to help everybody we can to learn this. So if you don't know, just ask. Don't worry about how dumb it is. We may pick on you a little bit, but we're gonna let you know that what we would do in that situation. So just ask us questions. So at this point, we're just running up to Mercedes and we're gonna tie it down. We'll pull the train up. We'll stop. We'll be done with the scenario. Again, if you've done good, you're probably not gonna see this part. So the only way you're gonna really see it is if you've completely failed. We're gonna just let you run the rest of the way, or if you are just on playing around and not gonna take anything serious, like if you're trying to stop the train with the independent at 50 mile an hour, you're gonna fail. So I mean, just take it serious. Remember, it's a game though. It's not the end of the world if you don't pass. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and be quiet the rest of the video. Just if you would like to sit on here and continue watching, you're welcome to. Uh, feel free to comment, let us know what we can, if you would like to join, we'll be more than happy to get you set up on Run8 with us. We do at the current time, we're going to run the AGS line, Alabama's Great Southern Railroad. It's all NS based. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this helps out. Please just practice this. If you're planning on joining our Discord, please pay attention to everything you can. We do appreciate all you guys coming out and watching. We appreciate the video that you guys, or appreciate the interest in wanting to join Run8 with us. And we'll see you guys later.